What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So, as everybody knows, I like my Les Pauls. But Les Pauls, they can get kind of expensive. So, what I figured I would do today is I would tackle the topic of what's a good budget, because everybody's budget's different. So I know that term's a little subjective, but what's a good budget Les Paul alternative, right? There's a ton of brands, a ton of different models that could be this guitar, but I do have a favorite. I've owned a lot of guitars from this brand, not just this specific model, but multiple models from this brand, and it's a brand that I find myself going back to a lot. If I'm not playing Gibsons or Epiphones, I usually find myself playing an LTD. So this guitar right here is an LTD EC 256. So the 256 is like the lowest tier of EC that still has all of the like hallmarks, I think, of what make a good like single cut LP style guitar. They do have cheaper models than this one, but a lot of them are like flat tops with bolt-on necks. This has an arch top. This has a glued in set neck. So I think this is a very good Les Paul alternative. And so what we'll do in this video is I'll kind of break down why I think this is a good Les Paul alternative, on why I go with this over like a really low-end Epiphone or another brand or something like that. So the first thing I want to do though is I've got a demo of this guitar, and so this video is going to kind of serve like a two-part purpose here. This guitar is totally stock. I haven't done any modifications to it yet, other than I put DeMar's new strap locks on it, because I just do that with every guitar I own. So we are going to mod this guitar later though. So I got some stuff coming in to do a pickup. I'm going to swap the pickups out. And I wanted to have a video of this guitar stock to compare, its stock configuration with some upgraded, versus like upgraded a little bit. Because I think that's kind of one of the big things that some of these more budget options are kind of lacking in, is like the electronics department, especially the pickups. So we're going to do a demo with this guitar, totally stock, and then later on in another video, we'll do like a mod project with this, sort of kind of like how we did with the Squier Strat deal. But here's the demo of this guitar, totally stock, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about why I think this is a good alternative to a Gibson or an Epiphone. Alright guys, so that was the demo of the LTD EC256. So this specific model of the 256 is one called the 256 Distressed. As you can see, it has some relicking. It's kind of hard to relic these like polyurethane finishes, but I think they did a pretty good job with this one. They make this model in a bunch of different colors. There's a gold top one, a black one more like a tobacco burst kind of one. But this one, a buddy of mine has one of these, and I saw him play it, and I tried to get him to trade me his, and he wouldn't do it. And I was like, man, I really like this. It's just such a cool looking guitar. I used to have a black one. It had the exact same like wear patterns on it. It was just black, like my Les Paul over here is. That was a cool guitar too, and I kind of regret selling it because it was just a real cool guitar to have around. So yeah, that was the demo of the guitar, totally stock. The pickups in this guitar aren't bad. So if you were just looking for a good, like, cheaper Les Paul alternative and you didn't have to really do anything to it, you know, I would be fine with these pickups. Like, they sound okay. And they even have, see if I can, there we go. They even have a coil split option, which I didn't use in the demo at all, but they do have that. Not really my thing, but it's there. So why would I go with a guitar like this as a Les Paul alternative over like an Epiphone or something? There's a lot of different reasons, and the big one I think is the look, which might sound kind of weird because you think like, well, an Epiphone would look more like a Gibson, right? Yes, but this model in particular, the distressed one, really appealed to me. I like the top, like the veneer that's on it. That flame is really nice. The relicking process, I really like that. I thought it looked cool. I've never seen it look this good on like a lower end guitar. The back has a lot of relicking and stuff like that too on it. The neck has some. I just really dug this. I thought it was a cool looking guitar. So that was a big part for me, was the look. I thought this had a real cool like vintage look to it, even though it's not a vintage guitar. And the other big thing too, especially with LTDs, is the necks. LTDs have really nice necks on them. Especially all the ECs I've played, whether it be like a 256 or even up to like the EC1000s, like the really nicer ones. I love the necks on LTDs. To me, they feel more like a 60s slim Gibson style neck. The Epiphone, like, I like my Adam Jones Epiphone a lot. But the neck on it doesn't feel like a Gibson neck. And I don't know why Epiphone is so kind of like hell-bent with that, where they just make their necks a different shape than Gibson necks, like no matter what. So if you don't dig that Epiphone neck shape, you know, if you want something that's a little closer to actually like a 60s Gibson slim neck, I think the LTDs are closer. So it's got a better feeling neck on it to me than a lot of Epiphones do. Now, this Epiphone in particular right here, the Adam Jones one, it has like I think the neck profile might be a little customized to Adam Jones specs or whatnot. So it does feel a little different, but the necks on these LTDs are really comfortable. This guitar is super thin. It's another big thing. It doesn't weigh nearly as much as the Les Paul. So if Gibsons are just a little too heavy for you, or Epiphones too, I mean, Epiphones can be heavy too, you know, let's do this. You know, compare this. You see the difference in thickness here? I mean, these guitars are very different in weight. I know that's kind of hard to convey on camera, but the Epiphone weighs considerably more than the LTD does. So that could be a big plus if you don't dig the weight of traditional Les Pauls. The other thing is the control layout. So the control, you see, it's only got 3 knobs, not 4. I never use my tone pots anyway. I mean, we're you know, drop tune caveman riffs over here, so we don't really mess around with a tone pot a whole lot. So don't even really need 2 tone pots. So you got one, and you do have the push-pull function. So it's got a little more versatility. So all those things kind of put together, I think, make it, like, it's very clearly LP inspired, and it's got the same scale length and everything, but it kind of does its own thing enough to where, I wouldn't say it's just like a carbon copy clone of an LP. It definitely has its own lane, but it's adjacent enough to where when I'm playing it, I'm comfortable with it. It still feels like I'm playing this style of guitar. It isn't like totally foreign to me. So the reason I picked this up is because I wanted something a little different, but that was still in this ballpark that I could play with a band that I'm in, where we play very long sets. We do a lot of covers, and the Les Pauls are great, but wearing them for 3-4 hours a night sometimes is can be a little much, So I wanted something that would be a little easier to have on for that amount of time and to play for that amount of time. So I picked this guy up to try him out. Like I said, I've owned LTDs in the past, so I knew I was going to like LTDs. I've owned an EC before, so I knew I was going to like it. But for me, it was really just about this finish. This kind of burst thing with that flame veneer on it. So my plan for this guy is we're going to do a little mod project with it. I got some pickups, and they're not crazy expensive pickups either. So that was kind of the thing. I wanted to kind of keep it like budget. So I think a brand new, you can't get these distressed LTDs anymore, new anyway. So I think a brand new 256 is about $400 or $500 maybe. Might be $600, I'm not sure. Inflation and stuff. I haven't really looked at the prices lately, but I got this one for $300 online, used. So really good deal. And you can see, like, look, I can do this with this guitar with one hand. Like, you can't do that with a Les Paul. Weights, it's just too heavy. So really cool guitar. I've always liked LTDs. I've always liked ECs. So if you are thinking about picking up a single cut and you don't want to shell out the money for a Gibson, and Epiphones just don't really sit right with you for whatever reason, whether it be the neck shape or, let's be real, let's just call out the elephant in the room here. A lot of people don't dig the Epiphone headstock. A lot of people just do not dig the Epiphone headstock. The LTD headstock looks cool. The flag inlays on the neck look cool. It just kind of has enough of its own thing going on, but it's very Les Paul adjacent. So if you've been looking at a single cut guitar, Gibson, Epiphone doesn't quite seem like they're your thing, check out an LTD. Even if it's not a 256, like I said, this is the lowest end model that has the arch top and the set neck. They make other models. There's like a model called 401 that's has some higher end appointments. Some of the EC models even have 24 frets. This one has 22. But I prefer 22 frets. That's just me. But a lot of the models have 24 frets, so that's the thing. A lot of them come with like Fishmans or EMGs in them. The 1000s, the like top end LTD ones, you can get them in a full thick version too. So if you do want the Les Paul chunk, they make models that are full thickness and have a little more weight to them. But yeah, these are phenomenal guitars, and especially if you're picking them up used, you can find them for a really good deal. So that is the demo and review of the LTD EC256 Distressed. And when I get the pickups in, we will do a little modification video and we will compare it. I'm probably going to use the same like demo template. That's my plan. This song's in drop D, and I recorded it with the STL Tones Will Putney plug-in, and I used the Bogner Ubershaw. And I'm probably going to use the same template, just with the different pickups swapped out. So that'll be the plan. And maybe in that video, I'll actually pull the playing sample from this video, and we'll just compare them side by side. We'll go back and forth. We'll do stock pickups and then the aftermarket pickups, and we'll see if we can see a difference. So hope you guys liked the video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, tell me if you ever played an EC, tell me what you think about LTDs. You know, I know this is kind of like the Gibson channel over here, like I'm all about the Les Pauls, but said I've owned a lot of LTDs, and I do really like them, and I'm considering maybe, you know, kind of branching out a little bit and kind of getting another LTD or two. Just said, as far as import guitars go, I really like them. I think that ESP and LTD are real. I mean, and Epiphone too. Epiphone's made a lot of headway in the past couple of years, but I think that LTD is probably leader of the pack as far as like high-end, really nice import guitars go. I think they're really hard to beat. So if you're thinking about a single cut, check them out. Thank you guys for tuning into the channel. I'll be back next week.